Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Inner Health Journey. If you're new around here, my name is Cammie. So this morning I thought I would make some English muffins. So previously I tried making some with the fresh milled flour and they turned out really dense. And so today I thought I would try again, just making some slight modifications, and I thought we could try it together. So today I'm going to be using my Bear dough maker for these English muffins. And so to begin with, we're going to put in 1.5 cups of warm water. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of yeast. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon of sugar. We're just going to let this sit and proof for 10 minutes. So you can see our yeast has proofed, and I am going to put in 1 large egg. I already scrambled that egg, 1/4 cup honey. And so the recipe calls for 4.5 cups of flour. I'm going to start with 4 cups since this is the fresh milled flour. And this is hard white and hard red mixture, 3-to-1 ratio. And then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to just turn this so you can see. On here it has a mix function, and we're going to select that, and we're going to do 15 minutes on that. And then the ferment side, or the rising function, this just gives it a little bit of heat to maintain the proper temperature for rising bread. And I'm going to set that for 1.5 hours. And then I will just push the start button. And I am going to go ahead and scrape down the sides of it. So I'm just sprinkling in a little bit more flour. It's a little too wet still for my liking. So like in previous videos with the fresh milled flour, I am learning how to use the fresh milled flour just for the, health benefits and the ability to store the berries. So I'm just playing around with this recipe. And with these recipes, you got to figure out what type of, just like with regular flour when you're making bread, what texture you are looking for. Is it the right texture, the right feel? Is it too sticky? So I have added 4 1/4 cup of flour. I've got about a 1/4 cup left over, which we'll just use that for when we have to roll these English muffins out. But like I said, if you're using the all-purpose flour, the recipe calls for 4.5 cups. And the only other difference is the regular recipe, which I will link down below in the description, uses 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, and I used 3 teaspoons. So we have about 10 more minutes of kneading on this with our Bear dough maker. And so I'm just going to put the lid on, let that go, and then it will go automatically into the ferment cycle, or the raising bread cycle. And so that will go for 1.5 hours. I'll check it on it in 1 hour and see to see if the dough has doubled in size. And then when that occurs, I'll bring you back. So I thought I'd bring you back and just show you what the dough looks like before it goes into the ferment cycle. And so now the bowl's just going to heat up, but it did clean the sides of the bowl, so I think that was the perfect amount of flour that we put in here. So our dough raised for 1 hour, and it's about double in size. So I think that looks good. So I'm going to put that leftover flour onto our counter here so we can roll out our English muffins. Get our hook out. So now I'm just going to take my rolling pin. I have it on the 3/8 setting here. And I just want to make sure that last time I think I rolled them and they were still too thick. And so this time I'm going to use this to make sure that I get them a nice even layer. And I think that looks pretty good. Like I said, that is almost 1/2 of an inch. I do like this rolling pin to help you have, to make sure everything is even consistency. And then I just have my set of cookie cutters here. So this is the 3.2 cookie cutter, 3.2 inches cookie cutter, and that's the one I'm going to be using. So I'm just gonna cut these. So these will rise more in the oven, but I know last time I made them way thick. So I'm hoping this thinness, and then I am going to let them rise on the counter as well a little bit to try to get those nooks and crannies that, you know, the Thomas English muffins have. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 English muffins out of that batch. So now what I'm going to do is take my cookie sheet. It's lined with some parchment paper. And I am going to sprinkle on there some cornmeal. And what I like to do is just take the bottom and then just flip it over like that and just press it into the cornmeal. And I also like to just sprinkle the tops with a little bit of the cornmeal as well if I have a little extra, just so it doesn't go to waste. I'm hoping that this batch turns out better than my last batch, especially since I'm sharing it with you all. Okay, we are just going to let these set and rise as they are right now while our oven is preheating. Okay, our oven is preheated at 400 degrees, and now we are going to cook these 7 minutes, and then we're going to flip them and cook them for an additional 7 minutes. Still very light. And there we have our English muffins. I'm going to let them cool now before we open them up. And so they did puff up, but I'm okay with it as long as we got those nooks and crannies in there this time. So like I said, we're going to just let them cool off, and then I will bring you back when they've cooled off. So also with this pan, I do 8 minutes per side, and these ones are a little bit darker because I did those as well as the 8 minutes per side, but with this different cooking sheet, I would probably do them 7 minutes on each side for that type. And there is the inside of the English muffins. They're still a little bit warm, but I see a little bit more of the nooks and crannies in these ones, so I'm happy about that. And they seem lighter than the last batch that I made, so they don't feel as dense. So I like that as well. So there we have it, homemade English muffins. I will just keep on perfecting this recipe, but these are edible, and I'm sure my kids will enjoy these all week long. So some things that we like to do with the English muffins is make breakfast sandwiches, or just eat them with butter and peanut butter on them. Either way, they are delicious. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of butter on there, and then I want to check the flavor of them to see if I have a good combination of the hard red and the hard white. These are still slightly warm, and I don't know if you're like me, but I love fresh bread out of the oven still warm. It's one of the best treats that you can have. There you have it, friends. Homemade English muffins. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you try this recipe out, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. If you could, give me a thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.